Interesting.
You're opening this pod with a book? A book.
Oh, I'm just reading my book. Don't worry about it.
What book are you reading, if I may ask, since it was more important than this podcast, apparently?
I'm actually reading Kobe Bryant's The Mamba Mentality. I'm trying to figure out how to get a Mamba mentality as we approach episode 81 coming up here. Plus, not to mention, you're killing me on this pod lately with these NFL picks.
Yes,
So
sir, I am. Yes, sir, I am.
I need to get in my Mamba mentality so I can figure that shit out, man. Because wow, it's been rough. We'll get to that a little later though. But episode 79, man, the Rosie Brown episode. Spinny, do you even know who that is?
No, sir, I do not. Sorry, Rosie Brown. My bad.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea either. But that's what Google tells me is the best 79 to ever play in the NFL. So I'm just gonna trust Google on
All
this
right.
one, man. He's a lineman that played for the Steelers back in the day, and he's in the Hall of Fame, so he must have been pretty good.
I'm going to go with Brandon Brooks, right? Guard for the Eagles, number 79.
You gonna shout out an Eagle?
Yeah,
Bro.
Brandon Brooks, baby. Let's get it. So before we get into this thing, and while Bus chugs that, and oh, what a pansy! Keep that thing going. Wow, classic Baylor move by Bus. So on that classic Bustler note, let's hear from Jack.
Spinny, man, we have so many headlines to discuss to start this episode. The very first being my headline on StreamYard here. Rest in peace, Bob Knight passed away the other day. Legendary college coach for those that didn't follow college basketball. I mean, Spinny, this man coached for about 45 years. His winning percentage is 71%. I just find that to be absolutely absurd.
Yeah, great coach. Very controversial figure, though.
Yeah.
Definitely choking out his own AD.
What do you mean? Throwing chairs across the court? That's controversial.
Throwing chairs, assaulting a police officer in Puerto Rico. The infamous interview with Connie Chung, where he said some very misogynistic and anti-women comments. So yes, great coach, but very, very controversial figure. But yeah, still rest in peace to that man. So
3-time D1 champion, 4-time even if you include him as a player. He did win as a player as well. So rest in peace, Bobby Knight. I hope they buried you upside down. You know what I'm talking about, Spinny? His legendary quote.
yes, I do.
Bury me upside down so all my critics can kiss my ass.
Rest in peace. That is the most epitome of a Bob Knight quote right there.
Exactly. R.I.P. Bob Knight. Now into some Minnesota headlines, though. Another kind of sad one here, though, Spinny. Dick Bramer. He's stepping down as a Twins announcer here after 40 years. What do you think about that?
That's tough. I mean, that man has been the voice of Twins baseball. You know, we had Bert off a couple years ago, and now Dick is gone. And I mean, that was the childhood, man. Dick and Bert.
That was
So
it, yeah.
I just, yeah, good. Happy retirement to him. I hope he gets to go have some fun, but definitely gonna miss him on the Broads.
And it's gonna be weird not hearing him anymore.
Yeah, very infamous.
See, obviously, our whole lifetime. That's
Literally
the only guy we've heard. So.
And a very classic baseball voice, in my opinion. Did a very nice job for my lifetime. A little bit of nostalgia there, dating back to memories with the family watching Twins games on Friday nights.
Absolutely. Now we got to go to the sad news. Kirk Cousins, Spinny. As everyone knows now, he tore his Achilles. Man, Spinny, run me through your thoughts at the time of the injury? I know you were watching the game, so run me through what you were thinking when it happened.
I went right to the denial stage.
Yeah,
100% instantly to the denial stage. Uh, Vikings tweeted the official Twitter account and said ankle injury. So I was like, woohoo, we might have a chance. We might have a chance. But honestly, obviously, when they played the replay, non contact injury, I didn't necessarily see the classic going up the leg situation with the Achilles, but you definitely saw a pop in his leg. And it was like, man, I just feel for the guy too overall, not just the season. Like the season was the number one thing on my mind at the moment, selfishly, because I felt
right,
like we
right,
had
right.
just figured it out. Kirk was on a roll. We were getting there. The defense was
He
playing
was
good.
balling.
He finally got protection for the first time in his career
Yes,
consistently. Our tackles have been balling. I just loved everything that was going on. But then after that, it was like for this guy, it's a contract year. He probably lost a ton of money on that injury there, and it could have been his last throw ever in a Vikings uniform. Period. So just kind of
could be.
sad stuff going all around. And then Kirk surprised me and actually impressed me. Staying on the cart, not letting the cart leave until the Vikings drive was over, clapping for his teammates, like cheering his
That's the
teammates
type of
on, and
guy
the
he is.
man just ripped his Achilles out of his leg.
Yeah.
So huge, huge love and honestly a lot more respect for Kirk
You
after
see
that.
the next day thing too,
Yes.
where he what was it? I don't even remember the exact
Where
situation.
were you talking about where he was signing autographs?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was talking about. I think that was 2 or 3 days later, but he was meeting with some kids, the Vikings Foundation kids that he had already scheduled, signing autographs, everything. Still like just unbelievably unselfish human being, and that's not
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
you see in pro sports very often. So, just yeah, a ton of respect for the guy. As much as I've been critical of him.
He could have been sitting at home thinking, "Poor me," but instead he was out there making some kids' days. So yeah, Kirk, we love you for that, man. But we hope you get right. And honestly,
Gosh, that just
it,
I've not.
I'm still in pain over it. I really am.
I am
Here
too.
we go.
I've never trashed. I've never come off a game where we trashed the Packers at home. Sad like that.
Feeling like shit. Yeah,
Like just nothing in the tank. Oh, sorry
yeah.
for Kirk.
Get right, Kirk. We hope you come back better than ever, man.
Facts on facts.
Jaden McDaniels, our last Minnesota headline. 5 years, $136 million. This happened a while ago. We have not discussed this on the pod. I love this deal. Obviously, him and Ant, they go great together. I love getting him locked up. I looked across the NBA. I was looking at the salary chart on ESPN. He's now roughly only the 40 to 50th highest paid player in the league. So it's not even that crazy of a contract in my opinion. You got to pay for upside in this league, as we know. I mean, we've seen guys with my opinion less upside than McDaniels get paid this much, if not more. So in that regard, I think it's a great deal for us.
I do agree. I'm going to use a comparison here. I don't think McDaniel's is quite the offensive player or ever will be of this guy, but this contract does have Jalen Brown contract upside, where he
Right,
signed that
right, right.
4 years, 120 the year right before he kind of really took off. And so if McDaniel's does take that step up, the contract's looking good. And you kind of got me on this a little bit too. Cam Johnson, 24 million. Kyle Kuzma, 25 and a half. John Collins, 25 and a half. So there's a lot of guys in that range who I think even right this very second, McDaniels is as good as. So
Exactly.
given the upside, I have come around on the contract. Initial reaction was kind of like, but I like having everybody locked up essentially on the team. And so yeah, we're just gonna run with it.
This might potentially make the cat trade actually happen, though. Now that we're paying him, Rudy, Cat, and Ant, yeah,
Man, the way Nas Reed
it's a
is
lot of
playing
money.
right now,
He's a baller.
I would be very open to a cat trade, especially if we can get some more guard depth and help and maybe another wing. Like if we can just spread it out a little more, let Ant be the real star. It
Yeah,
could be possible. I could get behind it.
yeah, for sure. That's a good segue to the next headline, though. the James Harden trade. It finally went down, Spinny, after all these months. We don't have to hear about these potential trade rumors anymore. It's done. He got his way. He's going to the Clippers. That man, Josh Harris, though, he had a busy weekend. He owns the Sixers and the Commanders, so he had a lot of trades going down this weekend. Spinny, I'll let you give me your thoughts, man. What do you think about this James Harden deal?
I think basketball-wise, he fits with the Clippers very, very well. I think Russ coming off the bench now, being more of that second guy scorer, he can kind of do what he wants when Harden's on the floor. I like that. Harden, PG, and Kawhi Leonard fit great together. Let Harden have the ball, be the assist guy. He can set these guys up, run the offense. I truly think that that is a good thing from a purely basketball perspective, but there isn't a leader in the bunch. Who's going to lead? PG
Not
ain't
one.
a leader. Kawhi ain't a leader. Harden definitely
Kawhi
isn't
doesn't
a
even
leader.
talk.
Kawhi doesn't talk. PG's the most leader of them all, and he's not really.
He's like,
that's just not. He's a little too relaxed for that.
Exactly. You don't want him to be your best leader.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
don't, and he is right now, which
Exactly.
is not ideal for them. I think it could be good, and it also depends on. It's almost to the Kyrie point with James Harden right now, where it's like, is he going to be able to stay in one place for longer than a year and not just blow up and have something crazy happen?
He already quit on 3 teams.
Yeah, so it's like I like James Harden. I have agreed with him about some of the things that have happened to him and the reason he's quit on teams. I have seen his side on a lot of stuff. But eventually, when it happens over and over and over again with different people, with different organizations, with all these different variables, and the only common thing is James Harden, then you got to give him the blame, right? That's just how I feel at this point.
I don't get why it was now. I felt like they should have waited out longer. No one wanted James Harden. It was pretty clear that there was no other teams involved in this bid for James Harden. And that's also probably just due to the fact that he just straight up said, "I want to be a Clipper." Right?
Yeah.
There's no other teams involved in trying to get him. So why are you giving up these first down the road? Yeah, in ideology, you would assume who cares about those picks 5-6 years from now? Kawhi, PG, Harden, all these guys are not going to be on the team 5 years from now. Those picks are going to be really good and they're unprotected. So from that perspective, I think it was pretty risky. And then also you throw on the fact that all those guys are free agents after this year. Kawhi, PG, and Harden, they're all free agents. What are they going to do? They're going to just re-sign all of them? I don't know. There's the potential here that Harden is only on the team for this season. That is a very, very good potential.
And
so
if that's
why I was so suspect.
Then those future first round picks are looking rough,
Yeah. So they don't own their own pick until 2030. The only first round picks they have until 2030 are swaps. Otherwise, they don't even have a first round pick. It's pretty risky, man. But I guess I get it from a historical standpoint because the Clippers have been one of the most down bad franchises there is in the league. So
yeah,
Ballmer's just sending it, I guess.
He is. I guess that I can respect that. I just don't have a ton of faith that it's going to work. Also, my headline today is a Kevin O'Connor quote, actually. If you're not first, you're last, James Harden. Kevin O'Connor said this on Twitter. I absolutely died when I saw it. And it is in relation to James Harden said in an interview this week, "I'm not a system player. I'm the system," which number one is complete bullshit anyway, because this man, he's not Houston James Harden anymore. It's not 2017. Sorry, not sorry, but it's not 2017 anymore. You're still a good player, but you're not that guy at this point. Do you want to win or not? If you want to win, you have to play in a system. And number two of all of it, number two is that he ranked second in the NBA in possessing the ball per game last season.
I know.
What do you mean?
That's what I'm looking up
right now. They had me on a leash. What does that mean? How could they have you on any less of a leash when they gave you the ball more than anybody in the league except Luka Doncic? What are we talking about? Unreal, terrible self-awareness from James Harden. unreal low levels of self-awareness from this man sometimes. It just blows my mind.
It doesn't surprise any of us though at this point.
No, it doesn't.
With
But it's like,
the way the last 3 4
yeah,
years have been with this man. Oh, I saw that too, and I just laughed. I'm like, Harden, bro, you're 33, 34, and you've quit on 3 straight teams, man. You're clearly not the system. There's
you're not the system.
like shit. There's like what 8 players tops in the league that you would say are the system. Like,
Well, in the
there's
last
not
two
many.
teams, he hasn't even been the best player. He's not better
Exactly.
than Embiid. He's not better than KD. What
Yeah,
are we
literally,
talking about?
literally unreal.
Craziness. Craziness.
I still don't think it's going to work out. That's my final take here. This James Harden
Yeah, I
deal to
would
the
mostly
Clippers
agree.
not working out. He's either quitting on them, one of them's getting hurt. Well, actually, those are your options. One of those two things is going to happen for sure.
Yep.
Final headline here, though, Spinny. World Series, man. It's all but done. The Rangers got it done. 4-1, 5-game series. Pretty entertaining series to me. Shout out to the Rangers, though, man. First World Series title in their franchise history. Do you know what that means, though, now?
Yes, I know that it means that now the Minneapolis St. Paul area has the longest championship drought. And also, the Minnesota Vikings have become
Yep.
the oldest franchise to never win a championship in their sport. A double edged L for us MSP sports fans. Why?
Man, that's tough. I didn't
Yep.
even know that until after the Rangers won the World Series. I'm like, wow, we are really that down bad, huh?
Very down bad up here in the
And
cold north.
everyone, every other metropolitan area that has a drought or whatever, it's like from I think Arizona was the second longest, and they're 2001 when the D-backs won. We're the only one not in this millennium since
Yep.
2000 to get a title. So pretty depressing there. My main thing I want to ask you though about this series, I saw so many people crying about the matchup. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on people complaining about the matchup and saying MLB playoffs need to be redone in some sort of way, maybe home field advantage for the higher seed for both of the first 2 rounds. I don't know. I just saw a bunch of different hypotheticals out there on Twitter and want to hear your thoughts on all that stuff.
I just am not that guy with baseball. Baseball's always been the who gets hot team. That's how it's always
Exactly. It's
been.
always
That's
been like
how it's
this.
always been. And part of me loves that about it. It kind of has
Yes.
the March Madness quality. It kind of has
Exactly.
that like anybody can do this. It's not like the NBA, we went into this season essentially knowing 5 to 7 teams at the max is all that really have a chance to win the championship.
And like the
And
Heat last year, that's not normal at
that
all.
doesn't happen in
That's
the NBA.
no.
Very, very rarely. And I think parity is a good thing for sports, but viewership wise, this World Series was definitely down bad,
Yeah.
viewership wise.
I mean, they just want the Braves, Dodgers, Yankees, or what? Like those are the only teams that your general fans care about, I guess.
And especially in a sport where money is so what's the word? Not fair. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say, but the money is so spread out and the budgets are so immaculately different that seeing a teams win with low budget or make
Right.
the World
Yeah.
Series like the Diamondbacks with low budget is kind of cool to see, even though Texas essentially paid for this championship. But it's cool to see from that perspective as well. Also, want to shout out Big Dubs and Fat L's will be a next week's segment, so that's something really cool to look forward to. But I wanted to point out a Fat L for both of us overall. When we were
Which
talking
one?
the Jake DeGrom contract,
Oh,
uh,
okay. Isn't
and
that fat of an L though?
well, we essentially said he had no chance to win the championship on the Texas
Yeah.
Rangers. That's what
Yeah,
we
we did
said.
say that. Yeah,
No
we did.
chance was the
We really
words
did.
that we used.
Yeah.
So, and then essentially 1 season later, they win the championship. So, fat L's from us on that one right there.
Yeah.
Congrats to the Rangers, though. And Corey Seager is a dog. A
He's the new Mr.
dog.
October, right? Like,
A dog. The
isn't
guy
it
that I
wild? He's the like second person to have 2 World Series MVPs. I find that insane.
I find that
After
insane
all
too.
the
Only
years,
only 2?
I swear the announcer said that when he was winning.
Wow, that's crazy.
I could
But
be
2
wrong, but
either way, 2 World Series MVPs with 2 different teams is also a
absurd.
really
Maybe
cool
it was that.
thing.
Maybe it was
Yeah.
more that specific, but still. Corey Seager, man. What a stud. Shout out Rangers, though. All right, Spinny, I think it's time to move on. Last week we predicted a lot of NBA stuff, and we're going to do some more now that we're about a little over a week into the NBA season. Let's talk all rookie teams and all defensive teams. So let's start with all rookie. First team, all rookie. Do you have well, we know we have Wemby, Chet, and I'm assuming you have Scoot as well, right?
I do not have Scoot Henderson on my
Okay.
on my first
5.
team. I do not.
Okay, but you have Wemby and Chet, right?
I do have Wemby, Chet,
Okay. Other 3, who do you got?
Brandon Miller. Very good
Same.
start to the season with the Hornets. Asur Thompson, who has been for Detroit, played 28 minutes a game, 4th in scoring about 11 points a game, and 9
9
rebounds a
boards, yeah.
game for Asur
Absurd.
Thompson so far. I felt like I had to put him on here. And a guy who eye test wise has been an amazing player this year, and I think fits with his team perfectly. Got the slight nod over Scoot, and that is Derek Lively from the Dallas Mavericks. I think he'll have a huge role this year. Lucas seems to love playing with him. So that's where I went as far as first team all rookie.
I have the same as you. I just have Scoot instead of Lively. I think Scoot will figure it out. He's been on an atrocious start to his rookie season. He's
Yes.
forcing a lot of jumpers though, a lot of threes too. Like Scoot, that's not who you've ever been. Like get to the hoop. That's what you do is you get to the rim. So I think once Chauncey gets in his head a little bit more and really grinds into him that he needs to be driving, attacking the rim every single possession, then things will start to turn around for him. So I still think he'll be able to get that though. So second team is where I have Lively. I do have Lively on it. I like your points about having a big role. As we know, the Mavs have basically never had a center, so that was a great pick by them. And he's been ahead of the clock already. Like he's already shown more through these first 5 or so games than I thought he would, if I'm being honest, because he's a little raw of a prospect. From here, it's a straight toss up. I'm gonna go. Here are my other 4. I'm going to go the other Thompson, Amen Thompson. He's hurt right now, hasn't played too much to start the season, but we know that he will have a big role on the Rockets. So you're just trying to pick guys on these rookie teams that will have good roles, right? So Amen is one of them. Bilal Coulibaly. I have no idea if I pronounced his last name right. Wizards, we know are going to suck. I think he will be unleashed as the season progresses. Cason Wallace, here's another guy that will have a role on a good Thunder team, and I think he will get on there because of his defense. He's been a tremendous defender so far through these first 4 or 5 games, and he's going to be pretty much locked in at about 20-ish, 20 to 5 minutes a night, which is pretty good for second-team rookie. And then I'm going your guy, actually, Spinny. It'll be interesting to see if he gets enough minutes throughout the year, but I'm going to your guy, Keontae George, as my 5th second teamer.
Let's go. You
Is
were
that who you
hating
got?
on that Keontae George
I
pick.
was.
Yeah, I got my
I
guy
was.
Keontae George on this all rookie second team. Scoot Henderson as well. Obviously, I think he's going to figure it out, shooting about 33% right now. That's going to change. Amen Thompson, also my third guy. I think once he gets back, he'll get a huge role, and obviously ball handling. He'll get a ton of that opportunities in Houston. Couple differences here. And I agree. I went guys that I think will get big roles and have had good minutes so far. Tumani Kamara, another Blazer on
Tumani, huh?
Tumani.
Interesting.
I like this guy. I love how he's played 23 minutes a game. His shooting is lower, only shooting about 32% right now. But I think he picks that up. I love what he does overall, and I think he'll get a ton of minutes on a Blazers team that really isn't trying to win.
Are you
Um,
are you a little worried though that his minutes will decrease because Scoot's out with that ankle injury right now, and Simons is also out with an injury?
yes, but I am a little worried about that, obviously. But Simons has not been able to put together health consistently
That's true.
overall. So
That's
I'm
true.
not. I think between him and Scoot, there'll be enough injury time and out time that this
Right.
man might get a bigger role than we think. And lastly, I want a little surprise here, and that is Jordan Hawkins of the New Orleans Pelicans.
Okay.
Um, he's been getting some really good time, about 25 minutes a game so far this year. He is in the top. What is he? 8th right now in scoring overall. It's about 3 rebounds a game. Shooting a lower 31%, but he's taking about 6 threes a game. So I think he'll get a lot of
That's what he does.
opportunities. Yep. 3-point shooter. I think he'll continue to get opportunities as the season goes on as well. And there's a lot of injury concerns in New Orleans.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
any of those, CJ, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williamson, all huge injury concerns and have an injury history. And if any of those guys go down, he only gets more time. And like you said, I think that is a bigger contributor to all rookie teams than anything else.
Yeah,
Also, just
exactly.
wanted a couple shout outs. I like your guy, Belial. I think he has a really good chance
It's another
as
really
well.
raw prospect there. So we'll see
Yes,
if he can
we
turn it
don't
on.
exactly know where that's going to go. And
For those
all,
that don't know him, this guy is Wemby's teammate, actually.
yes, yep. And did you have Marcus Sasser? I think Marcus Sasser, another guy, depending on the health of
Right.
players in Detroit, could be the second Detroit player on one of these teams as well. A couple honorable mention guys.
Yeah, I had Sasser as an honorable mention. I had Jarris Walker as an honorable
Hmm.
mention. Right now, he's not playing basically any minutes for the Pacers, but I can see an avenue to him getting playing time, given that Obi Toppin is the starting power forward. So like, there's not anybody crazy in front of him. And then pure talent, I had to throw an honorable mention to Cam Whitmore. I think he
Hmm.
could easily be a top 10 rookie. Obviously, the question is, will he play? Because right now, I think he's literally logged like 10 minutes total on the season. So he doesn't really have an avenue to playing time right now, maybe for the entire season as a Rocket. But we'll see. He definitely has the talent to be one of those top end guys.
Agreed. All right. Should we move on to all defense now?
Defense. Okay. Based on your prediction last week, I know you have to have Evan Mobley on your first team.
Correct.
So do I.
So all defense is positionless as well, correct?
From what I understood about the rule changes this past year, is all of these teams are positionless.
Okay.
All of them require 65 games played as well.
Okay. I like that. I'm taking a
Giannis.
chance.
You have Giannis.
I do have Giannis.
So we're 2 for 2 so far. Who are you
Yep.
taking the chance on?
Taking the chance on Anthony Davis
Okay.
for all defensive first team, just on the 65 games played
Right.
metric. And as well, another 65 games played metric chance, probably Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. Also, I have on all defensive first team. You have those two guys?
I do not have AD. I felt like I left AD off the All NBA teams last week for the 65 game reason. So I felt like I had to leave him off again. He's obviously a dude that can easily make. Actually, he probably will make. If he hits 65, he's going to be on one of these two defensive teams. Like he's obviously
Agreed.
that good at defense.
He's that good. Yeah.
JJJ though, Triple J, I do have on my first team.
Okay, so who are your last two guys?
My other two, Draymond Green. He balled out last year on the defensive end and played about 73 games, I believe. So I think he can flirt with that 70 game number once again. And as we know, Draymond, he's been doing this for years. I went Drew Holiday again as well. I think his defense it's only going to show how valuable his defense was even more throughout the season as he's on the Celtics now and not the Bucks. Like as we see the Bucks continue to struggle with perimeter defense and we continue to see him eat on perimeter defense with the Celtics, I think that's just going to only show how valuable he is on that end of the floor. So I'm going Drew again, 2 years in a row.
Agreed. I went Drew as well. So
Okay.
AD and Draymond, the guys we have different. Also, the Celtics might be better than I even thought. They look incredible.
They look unreal, dude.
Incredible.
It's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Derek White And Drew Holiday, man, that defensive backcourt is insane to me.
Yeah, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can hold their own too. Like, you got those
Agreed.
guys, and you got freaking Porzingis down low blocking shots. Just no, I'm with you, man. They look even better than I thought. They're meshing like perfectly right away. Like I assumed it would take some time, but
So did
they're
I. And it looks like some of the coaching situations with Joe Mass have gotten better as well to start the
yep.
season. So that's been nice to see as well. Second team.
Second team. I will just name all 5 of my guys right away. OG Anunoby led the league in steals last year. Made second team as well. I think he's going to be right in that mix. Big question with OG, as we know throughout his career, his health. He might not hit 65 games. Like that's very, very possible for him. Jaden McDaniels. This is the year. I'm going to keep picking him to make this team, man. He is clearly one of the best defenders in the league. I'm going to be upset if he doesn't make it this year. Now that it's positionless, because I feel like forwards are going to get the benefit of the doubt. I could be wrong there, but that's what I feel like. Caruso. This is another guy where 65
Alex
games.
Caruso, huh?
Yep, he made first team last year and played over 65 games. So I think he's going to be right in that mix again. Plus, he has the player support. Obviously, the players don't vote for this, but this offseason, those polls came out about the players and the GMs, and he was consistently ranked as one of the best defenders in the league. So the respect is there league-wide for Alex Caruso. Bam Adebayo, he made the team last year. He's always going to put together solid defensive seasons and basically always plays 65 games. And my fifth guy, I talked about how I don't see any way he can't average almost 3 blocks a game. I had to put Victor Wembanyama on the team. Wemby
I
is
like that.
rounding out team 2.
Very similar numbers here. Very similar guys here. I did leave Bam Adebayo off.
Okay.
Now, that might be a terrible take, but I took a risk, another health risk, as my guy to replace him. So I do have OG, I have Victor, and I have Draymond Green as my 3 second team guys that you have as well. My fourth guy is Chet Holmgren. I think if Chet Holmgren stays healthy right now, and obviously we're only through, how many ever games, but 2.6 blocks and 1 steal, 3.6 stocks a game for Chet Holmgren. That is the exact same number as Victor. So I think from a defensive perspective, and that is where Chet really changes the game. And my last guy, really the big decision here was between this guy and Bam. But I really think he's going to make a difference, and I think he's gaining a lot of respect around the league. My Celtics bias coming out here. Derek White as my last all-defensive team member.
I could totally see the Derek White. He obviously made it last year. I left him off just because I don't know if they'll give it to 2 teammates. Now,
No, that makes sense.
Not saying that that's never happened before or anything, but that's the only reason why I left him off. Literally the only reason. I think Rudy Gobert could be back in this mix if he takes a step back forward after his kind of bad season last year. Claxton, he was up there in blocks per game last year. He could be in that mix once again. And then 2 guys that used to be mainstays on these teams, but have not played a lot recently. I will never take the bet on them playing these 65 games, and that is Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Both these dudes are some of the best defenders in the world. And if they hit 65 games, they're kind of like AD to me. They're pretty much locked to be on these teams.
Do you really think there's a chance either one of those guys plays 65 games?
I do.
Really?
Like Bucks. I do. No, I'm not going to believe in that. I'm just saying I do kind of like Buck's point from last week when he said that they're like kind of mad that they're the faces of load management and they're going to finally take it a little personally. So I could see one of them actually hitting over 65. I don't think there's a chance in hell that both of them play over 65.
Agreed. Also wanted to shout out Brooke Lopez, I think could be on this list. Mikal Bridges, I think from an overall, the role he's going to get could be on this list. And Walker Kessler. I think there's also an off chance given the defensive prowess he had last year. If he takes a step up, Walker Kessler could be a guy on this list as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Now that it's positionless, man, like the analytics always favor the big guys. So it'll be interesting to see if any guards are able to even sneak on these lists. You would hope so, since it's such a perimeter dominated league.
Agreed.
Those are our predictions, y'all. Let us know what you think. Let us know who you got on your rookie teams. I feel like rookie for sure is like pretty straightforward. It always is. Defense, it's kind of a toss up. It's the 65 games is a very interesting wrinkle, and I'm glad that the NBA introduced that
It
for sure.
makes these award predictions much harder, I will
Yeah,
admit.
exactly. Next segment, trade deadline. NFL. It passed this last week. Tons of offers. Let's start with the one that happened a couple days before the deadline. That is Kevin Byard traded to the Eagles for Terrell Edmonds, a 5th-round pick, and a 6th-round pick. My only reaction to this is awesome, cool, sweet. Another amazing defensive player on the frickin' Philadelphia Eagles. Awesome. I just freaking love that. That is just cool, I guess.
Eagles needed this though.
They do. Their
when
secondary is not good.
when when teams have been able to protect their quarterbacks against the crazy Eagles front, they have destroyed this Eagles secondary. Look what Sam Howell
Yes.
did. There's been multiple examples. So if you can get protection against the unbelievable front of the Eagles, then you can really have a field day against them passing. Running the ball, you got no shot. Sorry, not sorry. Linebackers and linemen are too good for them right now, but passing the ball has been their only weakness. So I do like the signing for them, given that.
Yeah, great trade for them for sure. I just pissed that these guys always just seem to end up on the Eagles, man. It just drives me insane.
Yeah, I feel that.
Minor trade here. Gonna mention it though, because it's in our division. Donovan Peoples-Jones was traded to the Lions for a 6th-round pick. I mean, this is nothing more than a depth move, right?
Yeah, I like this move. It seems like a guy that Jared Goff would like for some reason.
Yeah.
It just seems like a fit
And
for
they're
him.
like their
How
secondary
effective it
and
is.
their second and third options on for receiver who they got Josh Reynolds, guys
And
like that.
Jameson Williams,
They
who
always seem to be
health-wise is
hurt or
kind of,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly. Good
great
trade
depth
for them
move
from that.
there. Hopefully DPJ does not kill us in our upcoming game against them. Because he's that downfield threat. Here we go. We talked about in the beginning how Josh Harris was making moves this weekend. 2 moves, man. He traded 2 of his guys on his stud D line. Montez Sweat went to the Bears for a 2nd, and Chase Young somehow went less than that. He went to the Niners for a 3rd. Spinny, we got to start with the Bears, man. What the hell are the Bears doing? Trading a 2nd-round pick when they're freaking terrible. That pick will be like pick 33 or 34 in the draft, dog. What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't necessarily love that value for Sweat. I do like Sweat for the Bears.
I
I think
love
he's a
Sweat
guy,
as a player, yes.
and I think he's a guy that you can not overpay for, but still sign to a
Probably.
long-term deal, a decent long-term deal with, especially with all the cap room that they have. But like you said, I don't love the draft capital value for him, especially given where they're at.
And this is 2 years in a row that they've traded a 2nd at the deadline. Last year they did it for freaking bum-ass Chase Claypool.
Yeah, that was a horrendous move.
Yeah.
Horrendous move. I don't think this one will be as
It
bad
shouldn't
as
be as
that.
bad.
How did Chase Young not have more value than a 3rd-round pick?
Well,
That is unbelievable to me.
well, also, like, the Bears probably punched themselves. They're like, we literally just paid more for Montez Sweat when Chase Young is younger and arguably better. Like, and he went
I
for.
I
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I understand that you do have to pay Chase Young a lot of money.
Right.
You're talking
Right.
top 3 or 5 DN money, which is a lot in the NFL right now. Do you think there's a chance he plays on a different team than the Niners next year? I do. I do
I think
think there's
it's
a
a
chance of that.
very, very good chance. Yeah.
So the Niners just wanted. You think there was a rental situation?
From what I was reading up from 49ers personnel, drawing a blank on his name. John Lynch, right? Is the GM?
Yep.
John Lynch was a lot of his philosophy goes around strengthening the strengths. So obviously their biggest strength is the D line. So why not make it even stronger? That's basically the thought process
No,
behind that.
and as far as this season, it's unbelievable. I mean, Nick Bosa and Chase Young with everybody else on that Niners D. That's not even
Armstead,
mentioning.
Hargrave.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not to mention all the other guys they got, but just those 2 guys on the edge, absolutely unbelievable. Unless you're Christian Darrisaw, because then you just throw Nick Bosa around
you
like
just throw
he's
to the
you and
ground.
me.
Yeah.
And then he's throwing Nick Bosa around like he's you and me playing D-line. So just another reason the Kirk injury hurt so bad is Christian Darrisaw looks like an all-pro. Absolutely unbelievable left tackle performances so far this season from him.
He is a freak. Yeah, for sure. Another DN move here. Leonard Williams to the Seahawks for a second and a fifth. Goes back to the Chase Young point, man. We got 30 or 31-year-old, however old he is, Leonard Williams, going for more than Chase Young. What is going on, Spinny? Am I missing something here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it must be the contract situation that
It's got to be,
you
right?
you don't have a guarantee of keeping him and not wanting to give up draft capital in that case. I love this move for Seattle. They
Same.
needed a pass rusher. They needed a guy up there who can, and he can do both. Good run defender, good pass rusher. And for the Giants, I think it was just a matter of time, given everything that was going on. It seemed like Leonard Williams was kind of a guy that we expected to be traded this whole season at the deadline.
Yeah. And second and fifth, I mean, that's pretty good value in return for the Giants.
So. Classic Pete Carroll getting value.
Yeah.
And John Schneider. Classic John Schneider trade there.
Finally, Spinny, our two deals. That's the last two we're going to talk about here. Vikings trade a sixth for Josh Dobbs and a seventh. And we traded Ezra Cleveland, guard, to the Jags for a sixth, which essentially means we traded Ezra for Dobbs. In essence.
Yeah. We traded Ezra for Dobbs and a seventh. I love the Josh Dobbs move. I think that he was the best available quarterback that you didn't have to pay a lot for. I like Dobbs with our team more than Jameis Winston. I think that was one of the names thrown around that we were looking at.
He's smarter with the ball than Jameis.
And just more accurate, I would say. I like that from him. I've liked some of what Dobbs has done in Arizona this year. And again, I think if we can consistently keep protecting him like our offensive line has been playing, it should be okay. He can throw accurate balls, and especially once Jefferson gets back, this man's open by 15 yards on the regular basis.
Yeah.
So as long as he can throw an accurate ball, it should be okay.
The emergence of Addison, we got Hawkinson across the middle. He's got plenty of weapons. So I do like the move. Ezra, I guess.
Go ahead.
He became a backup now that Dalton Risner is finally playing and starting for us. So I get it from that perspective. But I'll tell you what, though, man. Line depth is never a bad thing to have, ever.
No, I get that he's a free agent. You're not going to resign him.
That's the main reason, right?
He wants to play left tackle, which I get. Ridiculous amount more money. That's his original position. And he'll probably get, even as a starting left tackle on one of these bad teams, right? You're still getting the $10 to $15 million a year range. That's a lower end left tackle, whereas the top guards in the league aren't even necessarily getting that much money. So it'll be I get it, the trade from the semantics and stuff perspective, but again, why the pick we got to me is not worth the depth for the rest of the season if there's an injury. But
yeah, I agree, and he was balling out through these games with us so far this season. PFF had him ranked 8th, I believe, for left guard, so he was amongst the league's best at the position. So overall, you feeling what grade would you give us? Let's just put it that way.
I'll take a B.
B
just for the Josh Dobbs trade. Maybe minus C+ range a little bit, but I like the Dobbs trade. I just hope it doesn't make us good enough to not make the playoffs. Like, I just hope it doesn't put us at this. Yeah. Yes, I hope it doesn't put us as this 8-9, 7-10 range where we just get a crappier pick. But given the NFC right now, there's a huge chance 9-8, 10-7 make the playoffs, right? Because you got San Francisco and Seattle, you got Dallas and Philly, the Lions. And whoever wins the NFC South. That's 6. The next spot
is us right now.
Completely up for grabs from anybody. There could be an NFC South team. It could be but the Vikings are the most likely team in that category. And if we get in, you never know what can happen, especially if you're getting a matchup against the 1 or the 2. Say the Lions or one of those sneaky teams, the Eagles get the 1 and maybe the Lions get the 2, or even we've shown we can beat the Niners. I think we can beat Seattle. I just think there's a lot of options for wildcard games that we could win.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I have one more question for this deadline before we jump to our final segment. Which contender was the biggest loser by not being involved? There were a lot of teams, Chiefs, Bengals, et cetera, that did not make any moves. What do you
Chiefs
think?
not getting a wide receiver is hard
That'd
for
be number
me,
one for me. Yeah.
given there's a few of them available. Um, let's see. Bills signed Leonard Fournette, so they covered their running back situation. I don't know if you saw this man's calves this last week, but this man looks like he has biceps for calves. Absolutely unbelievable. I like that pickup for them, so I think they covered their biggest need. So yeah, it would probably have to be Chiefs.
The Chiefs were not the biggest loser to me. I
Yeah,
felt like they
Chiefs
had
not
to
getting their
make
receiver.
they had to get a receiver, man. I was so shocked that they didn't. I was like, your
At
receivers have
least a
been,
low key guy like Donovan Peoples Jones or even like one of those type of guys, you know.
yeah, they'd be better than MBS and all these bums that you guys are playing right now. Kadarius
I
Tony
al-
can't catch the ball. Like,
I also low key think the Ravens not making a bigger push for one of those running backs was an L as well. Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry, or they could have got a few running backs throughout the league for very little. I just didn't like them not making a play for that.
no, I completely agree with you on the Ravens too. All right, Spinny. It's time to make our week 9 picks, man. We obviously recording this on Friday night. We did not get it out in time. So we ain't counting Thursday night games. Steelers won that one. Spinny though, Ben, back to the mama mentality that I opened up with. It was a
Yeah,
rough
give me the
week.
records.
It was a rough week for me, man. You got 2 up on me from this past week. So you're up 3. 58-32. You are 55-35. I am. Losing ground. That's
Let's
never a good
go.
thing. I'm
Let's
channeling
go.
my inner mama mentality here, though. I'm gonna be on par for these picks, man. If I can get them loaded, your NFL slate for Week 9, classic ESPN app, always bugging when I need it the most. Dolphins, Chiefs in Germany. Chiefs are technically your home team and are favored by 1.5 points. Who are you taking?
This is a tough one for me.
So tough.
I'm gonna. I'm. Uh, mm, I went back and forth on this pick about 1,000 times. I'm gonna take the Chiefs. We're gonna stick with the Chiefs.
You know what that
Take the
means?
Fins. Take the
I'm
Fins.
taking the
Yeah,
Fins, man. I
take the
got to.
Fins. Take
I
the
have
Fins.
to. My plan for this game, because I was just like you, I was so back and forth. I was like, screw it. I'm letting Spinny decide. I'm taking the opposite.
Classic cheater mentality right there. That's why I had to take the Chiefs. I got to take Patrick Mahomes.
That's fair. Seahawks at Ravens, 6-point favorites for the Ravens. I feel like that's
Ravens.
absurd versus a 5-2 team. I'm still obviously taking the Ravens. I just feel like that line's
My
crazy.
My Super Bowl pick, Baltimore Ravens, looking phenomenal.
Yeah, honestly, they might be the most complete AFC team so far through 8 weeks. If I'm being honest.
Wonder who saw that coming on this pod. Huh. Interesting. Interesting, isn't it?
Cardinals at Browns. Browns 10-point favorites. I'm going to go Browns. Clayton Tune is starting. Rookie Clayton Tune. He's going to have a nightmare versus that defense.
Yeah, Browns are winning this game. Deshaun's going to be back, so.
Oh, he's back too? I didn't even know. I was confident in Browns either way. Bucks at Houston. Houston coming off that disappointing loss to the Panthers last week. Houston 3-point favorites at home.
We're going to take the Bucks. I think maybe Houston goes on their little slide now. They had a nice little start, but maybe I had too much belief in them. I like what Baker and the Bucks have done so far this season. I think they've played solid. I think they have a chance to win that division. Them and the Saints, the biggest 2 contenders there. So I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Just what I wanted to hear, man. Texans. This is how I'm making it up, man. Texans and Fins. Let's go, baby.
Texans and Fins.
Bears at Saints. Saints. 8-point favorites. Saints. 100%.
Saints ain't losing at home to the Bears.
They ain't losing Tyson Bagent at home. No way.
They might make one up here. Oh, okay. Vikings.
Vikings at Falcons. 3.5-point favorites for the Falcons.
I'm gonna pick the homer pick. We're gonna take the Vikes. We've been on
the
this
Vikes,
for a couple of
baby.
weeks. Yeah,
Let's go.
we're gonna.
Jaron
Jaron Hall
Hall.
gets it done. Jaron Hall gets it done. He said this week he wants to lead his team to the Super Bowl. That's the goal. I love that mentality from him. So hopefully we get a dub. Although the Taylor Heineke start does make me a little nervous. I wish Desmond Ridder was still starting.
Yes. If Ridder was starting, it'd be a lock. I'd count that shit as a lock. Rams at Packers. Packers 3-point favorites in this one. I want to say Rams, but Stafford is like very, very likely not to play. And who the hell's even their backup? Like, I actually have no idea.
I know. I'm going to take the Packers too.
I'm taking the Packers.
Stafford's health.
Yeah.
If Stafford was healthy, I was 100% taking the Rams. 100%. But
Same.
I don't think they can win without their starting quarterback.
Yeah, completely agree. Commanders at Patriots, 2.5-point favorites for the Pats. I'll go first here. I'm gonna go the home team. Pats, I feel like have been playing pretty well actually the last 2-3 weeks. I think their defense steps up here at home. Foxborough is always a tough place to play. They get it done.
I think pretty well is an exaggeration, but after you just traded all those guys and essentially gave up on your season, I'm gonna take the Pats as well.
For their standards, I meant.
Fine.
Compared to the start of the season.
Why is this next game at 3:00, by the way? I don't understand why this game's at 5.
What do you mean?
Not at all. Nobody wants to watch this game.
What are you talking about, bro? You don't think this game should be on CBS?
Nobody wants to watch this game.
Well, obviously, the NFL is thinking, okay, Anthony Richardson is traveling to face Bryce Young. That was obviously their thought process here. The Colts are traveling to face the Panthers. Colts are 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to say it, man. Panthers getting win number 2. They keep that shit rolling. They play so much better at home. Last year, they won 7 games. 5 of them were at home. So far, they're 1 for 1 at home. So I'm sticking to it.
I think JT carves up the Niners D.
Probably will. Yeah.
Panthers D. 3 straight losses for the Colts as well. I think they right the ship this week and get the dub at Carolina.
Giants.
Please pick. Oh,
the Raiders.
You know how this one's going. They just fired their coach. Everyone loves their new coach. Devontae was hyping him up. I just love how it's going so far. I think they're going to feed Devontae the ball. So we're going with the Raiders this week over the Giants.
I'm going Raiders too. It is a little risky pick. That rookie Aiden McConnell is starting. That could be kind of risky. But
we love Aiden O'Connell. Come on.
They're playing the shitty Giants, so I'm rocking the Raiders as well. Now we got some good games here. 2 good games.
Pick differently than me. Pick differently than me on this game. Come on.
Cowboys at Eagles. Eagles 3-point favorites. Eagles looking like the best team in the NFC right now. I'm taking the Eagles.
Oh, come on.
You wanted me to take the boys on the road?
Yeah.
This is a 3-interception Dak Prescott game. Come on.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Dak goes off this game. I honestly think this is going to be a 38-35 game, but I do have a little more trust in your boy, Jalen Hurts, than I do in Dak, so we're going to take the Eagles.
Why do they have to be in Philadelphia, man? He really is my boy, but he plays for my least favorite team of all time, basically. Bills at Bengals. Bengals kind of figuring it out now, man. 2.5-point favorites for the Bengals. Do you want me to go first or you?
No, I'm going to take the Bengals at home. I think the Bills have had a good week last week against the Bucs. Played well, got the win. I think they go into Cincinnati and take the L, but this is going to be a close one as well. Like
this could be a shootout.
30-28 Bengals here.
Yeah, this could definitely be a shootout. Both of these teams can light it up. I'm with you though. I think Joe Burrow keeps that shit rolling. Keeps beating Jamar Chase. He's back in his rhythm. They keep that shit rolling and go 5-3 after that terrible start to their season.
And maybe do just enough to make the playoffs for A-Rod to come back. That'd be wild.
Oh, we're on to the Jets?
Oh, sorry.
I was saying the Bengals could be 5-3. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But now the Jets, Monday
Could
Night
also be
Football.
5-3.
Yeah. Chargers at Jets.
I'm
3.5
taking
point
the
favorites.
I'm taking the Jets, Jets,
Stop
baby.
picking the
We're
same as me,
taking the
man.
Jets over the Chargers. This is a classic Chargers trap game right here.
Yes, it
Where
is.
they have the more
100%.
talented team, more talented roster, but they still have Brandon Staley. And as much as I like Kellen Moore and some of the things he's done, Staley still limits this team. They need to fire this man.
Do we finally see him get fired if they lose this game? They
No,
fall
no.
3-5?
The Spanoses will not fire him. They do not fire coaches before the end of their contract. It's just not a thing that they do. So they're too cheap. It's kind of the owners they are. I see him staying there and making them more sucky than they should be.
Man, I hope you're wrong, dude. Get this dude out of there. We've been
I'm
saying this.
sorry. I like this dude. I think his interviews are funny. I think he's a genuine dude, but like, come on, man. You're underachieving over and over again. Justin Herbert's a baller, and you can't win games with him? Just insane to me.
Yeah, they're losing this game. Prime time. Herbert's going to struggle. Jets D is stepping up. Staley's going to have a coaching mistake or two in crunch time. Yeah, I'm taking the Jets too. All right, y'all. You heard it here. I'm with my Mamba mentality. I was reading up. Kobe was giving me all the insights. I'm taking this lead back. I'm gonna make up 4 games. I'm gonna be up by this. You heard it here first.
Whatever. I'm probably gonna be up 2 more games after this week.
Gosh, I hope not. I really hope.
Oh yeah, I'm running away with this one this year. Let's go.
Q&A. I do have one for you very quickly.
Okay.
I just thought of one. We talked about how surprised we were with the number of the players and teams so far, like the Celtics and so on and so forth. Give me a surprise we haven't shouted out yet. A low-key one, if you can. A
NBA surprise?
Yeah, NBA, sorry.
Can I do a
weekend
team?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, so this team was not a surprise to me, actually, because I called this before the season. I was the only one, though, that did not have this team in my playoffs. Everyone else on our NBA, this was Buck. Buck had them in the playoffs. You had them in the playoffs. And currently, they are the worst team in the West. That is the Memphis Grizzlies, the 0-5 Memphis Grizzlies right now. Really, really struggling. Something I kind of predicted, but a lot of people did not see coming. Also, Victor Wembanyama, baby! I told you this man was going to be an all-star. I told you this man was going to be an all-star as a rookie. And it's looking hotter and hotter by the minute. Victor.
Don't say that as if I was trying to disagree with you, okay?
No, but I am the only one with the guts to come out and say it. Said it, and it's going to happen.
Fair enough.
You got one? I kind of want to hear what you had to say about that.
I've been kind of shocked at a number of things so far in the NBA. One, they're playing right now. Their game could be close to over by now. Julius Randle, what kind of horrible start has he been on to start the season for the Knicks? She's shooting like 31% or something insanely bad. Classic, same story.
5 for 18 currently.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's always the same story with Julius, right? Poor body language, gets in his head. He lets what happens on the offensive end affect him when he's playing defense, and so on and so forth. It's always that same story with Julius Randle. This might be a little hot take, but I can 100% see Julius get traded at some point this season, especially if he keeps being a detriment to his team like that. Like, you can't have poor body language like that, man. Like, that feeds into everyone else. Like, if one of your star players is acting like that, then no one's going to have good energy. It's going to be negative energy everywhere. So that's one thing that's really stood out to me, because I thought he was for sure going to be able to turn the corner on that. A little biased Kentucky guy.
Couple storylines from the current Bucks-Knicks game. Bucks are up by 1 with 40 seconds left. My guy, Bobby Portis, worst fantasy start of the week for sure. Started him tonight. He is currently 2 for 10 with 4 points. So shout out Guillotine Ball. My terrible, terrible start of him. But also my guy, Jalen Brunson, 43, 5 and 4.
He's up to 43 now.
43, 5 and 4. Another horrendous defensive guard defensive performance by the Bucks.
Good thing I
Dame
started
though,
Brunson tonight.
Dame coming in clutch, 2 baskets in the last minute. Really living up to the Dame time nickname right now. 27-foot three. They were down 101, 103, hit a three, then made a layup, then just got fouled. They got fouled on that layup and one. So 6 straight points from Damian Lillard to take them from 101, 103 to 107, 103.
Sheesh. Jalen Brunson making All NBA, like I said last week. Maybe it's kind of looking like that. One other shout out though, I want to shout out another Kentucky boy. Man, my guy Shadon Sharp has been hooping to start the year. He just had his best game ever, about 20, 29, 7, and 5. I don't have the stats on me, so don't quote me that. That was his most recent game. He's been hooping, man. He's been doing what many thought Shadon Sharp or Scoot Henderson would be doing to start this season. Kind of putting the league on notice. Yes or no?
Yeah, you're right. You definitely are right. Wow. I'm just gonna shout out a little volleyball, a little WIAC
Okay.
conference volleyball tonight.
Ooh, let's
Just
hear
to
it.
give a little perspective. We at River Falls are currently the 5 seed. We could go up to the 4 seed, but we take another loss and us winning. We play Whitewater, who is ranked 7th in the country tomorrow night. But Eau Claire just did us a favor and beat Stevens Point in 5 sets, which means if we can pull the upset tomorrow night against Whitewater, we will be the 4 seed and host the first round of the WIAC tournament
Let's
at
go.
Page Arena. So thank you, Eau Claire, for getting it done. Now we got to go get it done and get our home game. If
Tomorrow, you
not,
said?
though, tomorrow we play at
Tomorrow, what time?
Whitewater,
What time we got
7
it?
p.m.
7 p.m., y'all. Go tune in.
Top 10 team in the country, though. Need to really play well and get an upset there, and then we will host. Sucky thing is for us, if we do lose, we then drop to the 6th seed, given the
Really?
wins around, which means we will go to Platteville, the worst drive in the WIAC. Team we can still compete and do well against, but not loving the 4.5 hour cross random Wisconsin drive. So
that is tough. I didn't realize it was that far for you guys. That's crazy.
Yes. So big dubs for Eau Claire tonight, and hopefully we can back it up and host at Page Arena on Tuesday night.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tune in, y'all. I told you. All you got to do is search River Falls Volleyball, click schedule, and go click that live link, man. That's literally all you got to do. And you can watch Spinny coach that up from the sideline, watch his girls get it done tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all tuning in once again. As the banners have shown throughout this episode, please drop likes, comments, subscribe if you literally still somehow haven't, as we're on episode 70 freaking 9. If you haven't, you should get slapped in the face or something. But
facts.
We still appreciate you either way. And we will catch y'all next week.
Thank you. Hug your friends and family. We love you, Hardies and Hardos.